Hey guys, Darren here. Welcome to Mayhem Country Living. Turmeric ginger tea. It's an acquired taste. Been a long couple of days. I did a short video today, earlier today, on pine needle tea with rose hips, and we have been working thinning out the chickens. So I ended up butchering a bunch of chickens, and I made, I'm gonna say 10 gallons of broth and about 3 gallons of bone broth between yesterday and today. And I have been busy getting all that stuff done, and we got everything cleaned up, finished up finally. I butchered 3 or 4 birds, and we've got meat for the week, and so that's a good thing. And then we got broth to go over the dog's feed, and gave away a bunch of bone broth as well. It was I have to get me a fat separator before I can really start canning the bone broth, because it has so much fat in it. These chickens are so fat that I wouldn't feel safe canning, because you can't can fats, or it's not recommended. You know, butter, milk, things with high fat contents, you're not really supposed to, and only supposed to preserve the lean meats and stuff like that. Pressure canning. And so it has been a long day and a cold day. I'm finally at a point where I can play, and my playtime is going to be down here in the basement, trying to get some stuff transplanted and moved around. I have to take some cuttings off of this big old tomato plant, because it is now about 5 feet tall. I'll spin you around and show you. And this is going to be, that tomato plant's over a year old now. I planted it, I'm gonna say the first of last year, maybe March, and outside, and then I took a cutting and brought it in and transplanted it, and this is what we have. So we're getting that ready, and these are several of the cuttings that I have taken from it, and then we have another 12, 24, 36 tomato plants that are finally starting to come in. This hydroponics tray is not doing as well. I'm going to say it is related to the cold weather down here. So we're remedying that problem. And the warmer I make the basement, obviously the warmer the house is as the heat rises. I'm also going to get some seed heat mats that are will go under trays, and I'll show you those whenever they come in. But right now, I'm going to thin down and pick out a salad for us, and you can see these guys are doing good, and I'm trying to keep them from getting so leggy, and keep everything nice and warm down here. But yeah, I just haven't had that much of a response, and I believe it is related to just the colder temperatures that we've been having, especially down here in the basement. And remember, these guys are in a nutrient tank, so that water is probably around 60 degrees. I've got some aquarium heaters I can put in there. I was trying to just experiment and figure out how to do it without it. But everything is going okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take some cuttings off of this tomato plant, and I'll show you what I'm doing. And then we'll get them in the dirt and keep an eye on them and see how they do, in addition to the seeds that were started. More to come. I'm going to show you what we're doing. These are just solo cups. I kind of like to have the smaller styrofoam cups, but this is what I got to work with. So what we're going to do is we're going to use these for our tomato starts, our cuttings. And what I'm going to do, take the drill, any size drill bit, 3/8. One more. There we go. Now, I have holes all the way through this. So we can fill these guys up with dirt and start our cuttings. And of course they'll go in a tray and we'll get them going. More to come. I'm going to show you what we're doing. You can see this is going to be a good cutting, and this is to a height. I don't want it any higher than that. Hang on, I'll see if I can spin you around. You might be able to see that's me, and then that's the plant. It's about 5 feet high. And that is plenty high down here in the basement. So we're going to take a cutting here, a cutting here. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cuttings. And you can see I've already started getting more blossoms in for tomatoes to come in. The more we have ready, the better off we'll be when we're able to take these guys outside and plant them. I will probably keep 5 or 6 indoors down here just to plant as well. Hang on, I'll show you all of our peppers. Peppers are doing great. Looks like I might need to pollinate them again. And there's the basil. We're going to take cuttings off the basil as well. But we're also going to do about 300 or 400 seedlings. Maybe not today, maybe tomorrow. It just depends on the time that I have. Let me get some good sharp cutters. Use a sharp cutter, do a diagonal cut. Make sure you disinfect it with a hydrogen peroxide or alcohol so you don't transfer any kind of junk to the parent plant. These again are going to be clones because we are not doing anything other than reproducing this exact plant the way it is. Why do this? Go to the grocery store, see how much food is. It's going to double. More to come. There we go. And just so I cleaned it, scissors, hydrogen peroxide. I'm going to take this. I don't want all the production to go into leaves at this point. So we're going to trim it up a little bit. I want this guy to grow. And I'm actually going to plant it almost as deep as my index finger. And I will show you how we're going to do that. I'm not even going to use any rooting hormone, I don't think. Because with tomatoes and peppers and some like willow family, I think that's Asix, A-S-I-X. You don't really need to because they do so good on their own. And that went from about that tall to, well, there you go. Now, I'm going to set this guy in here. We're going to keep it warm. We're going to water it. Going to give it a little bit of good fertilizer. On to our next one. All right, guys. This one right here, it has this branch that had come out. Going to bury the whole thing. Why cut it when it's going to make roots? And now is the time to be experimenting with these things and playing with them and learning how to do it. There we go. Looks like I've almost buried it. Perfect. I am going to cut those big leaves off right there because I don't need them. I'm not trying to do leaf production. I'm trying to generate roots. And again, this batch we have not used any of the rooting hormone. We'll make a note of that in our record book here, just so we can keep track of our experiments while we're trying to do this. Got one more. Again, this is a big one. And don't worry, all of this stuff will go out to the chickens, be recycled. Sometimes I just ball them up and put them in the bottom of a cup, let them decompose. But it will all be composted. There we go. Now, we've got all 6 of those planted, and I'll show you a finished one. And we are going to take our watering can, Little Tikes watering can. We're going to put in a pinch of magnesium sulfate, which is Epsom salt, and then we are going to do a little bit of water soluble 21 of the Scott's water soluble fertilizer. Then we're going to put in a little drop or 2 of the kelp micronutrients, just to get those guys going, keep them damp, and that should give us 6 more tomatoes. And again, I'm not going to be keeping all of these. I'd love to have 500 plants to plant out for myself, but right now I just don't have the space to do it. Maybe later on when we get a little bit more further down the road. But so these going out to friends and family, and a lot of times I offer this to everybody that lives close. If you want me to start some seeds for you, buy 2 packs of seeds, give me 1 pack, and I'll start your seeds. And that way I always have just different seeds I can start. I'm going to buy a few more packs this year, but I haven't bought seeds, gosh, since last year. But they may be getting hard to find. So there is that. We're going to wrap this up now, and I have to get this situated. I may come back down here after dinner and do a little bit more if I have enough dirt or potting soil to make these starts do good. Take care of you people, guys.